Hey, good morning to you on this Resurrection Sunday. Man, this is our sunrise service. The sun is about ready to peek over the horizon. Man, it's just gorgeous down here, and I just want to welcome you down here with me. And we're just going to have a good time in the Lord this morning. And my brother sent out a text to the family text to all my siblings, and it was up from the grave he arose. And I thought, wow, man, does that bring back childhood memories? And I think for all of us, we identified, there's a guy that used to sing that song in church, Ralph Rosso, and man, it just sent shivers down your spine. Up from the grave he arose, a mighty triumph over his foes, and it's a powerful song in the way that he sang it. Yes, indeed, he is risen. He is risen. Come awake, church, he is risen. Philippians 3:10, I want to know Christ, yes, to know the power of his resurrection and participate in his suffering, becoming like him in his death. It's almost an oxymoron, isn't it? The power of his resurrection, becoming like him in his death. When Christ arose from the dead, 500 people witnessed him, and his disciples, what they saw and heard and believed, they were willing to go to their death. But aside from one, they were all martyred. They were all killed for their belief. And you think if it was a hoax or a fraud, man, they would have gave it up. But they held out to the end. And it's just, there's something undeniable. It doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter how well educated you are, it doesn't matter. There's something undeniable that happened that day. There's something that happened. And it's changed civilizations. Even our country was built on them foundations of the Bible. And people nowadays are trying to move away from it. I'm not sure what their goal is or where they think anarchy, I don't know. But they're moving away from it, and it's sad. It's sad because it's so life-changing, and it changes nations. And for us to deny it now, deny the power thereof, is a scary thought. But what I really want to focus on what Paul was talking about when he says, become like him in his death. And like the preacher said, there has to be a death before there's a resurrection. There has to be a descent before there's an ascent. And Romans 6:5 says something. If we have been united with him like this in his death, we will certainly also be united with him in his resurrection. And because he died and was raised from the dead, so can we count on that we will die and we will be raised from the dead. And also, for knowing that our old self was crucified with him so the body of sin might be done away with, that we should no longer be slaves to sin, because anyone who has died has been freed from sin. I think about that. I thought, wow, isn't that amazing? There has to be that death, and that we can be resurrection. And I'm talking about even now in life, where something in us is resurrected, and there's a falling away of the old self, a falling away of my own ideas, my own agenda, and now it becomes his agenda, and it's this new life, this new creation that he has made in me. And I think about that because I think, one of my children, they had a reoccurring dream that their friend would die, and they were just really upset, and he called me and said, I just keep dreaming my friend's gonna die. And I said, I don't believe it's physical. I believe that you guys are making a parting of your way. That relationship you used to have isn't going to be there anymore because you're going your separate ways. And that God is doing something in both of you that is going to go in a different direction. And it's almost a death of that relationship in a sense. And I says, man, sometimes it has to be that way. And there has to be a parting. I got to tell you a story, talking about how just listening to people and to hear their story. But I was in a place, and it's a local man, and he begins to share a story with me, and I was getting revelation knowledge while he's talking. It was just like, wow, man, you can apply this. But he was talking about how he moved here from a different country, and they had wealth, but it hadn't arrived. So when they got here, they were in the street. I mean, they were in the poorer part of town, in the rougher part of town, and he knew that it was short term. He knew that once their wealth had arrived, that they'd be moving from this place to a better place. But he said it was interesting because he ran with a lot of them kids, and they had no hope. I mean, they lived for the moment, for the now. That's all they could see, because a lot of them might be in prison or dead at 21. And so they just lived for that. I mean, that was their whole existence, was what they could get out of it now. And he said, but me, I knew that this wasn't permanent. It was temporary. One day when it had arrived, man, I'd be going off and living in a whole lot better conditions than I was in. And I thought about that, and I thought, wow, it's like us. We're sojourners. We're just traveling through. Man, if you think that you're going to go on forever, I'm sorry. You're going to be really disappointed. Every one of us has that appointed day that we will die, or the rapture come, or whatever. But we're not. This isn't going on forever. Your life isn't going on forever. But we have that hope, that resurrection hope, that I'll tell you what, when we die, we know that we have a promise. Man, we are only traveling through this life. Man, it can be rough, it can be hard, it can be a hard place to fall, all those things. But we're not staying here. We're not we have a place that when it arrives, we're going up to our mansion. And I think that's so powerful because I don't believe in soul sleeping. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I believe what the Bible says, and the Bible says, absent from the body, present with the Lord. No gap, no interruption. As soon as you draw your last breath here, you're in the presence of the Lord. That's scriptural. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, wow, you have made, even in this life, I can put away the old man. I can have this new life. I can have hope. I'll tell you, without a vision, the people perish. Man, I can have hope. I can have aspirations. I can have all these things. And then the best part about it is when I finally come to the end of my life, it's not the end, it's the beginning. Man, my eternity started the moment that I received Jesus Christ and believed on his name. You know, I'm not really uncomfortable about this, but I just, can we just pretend it's just me and you and we're going to sing a song together? Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Amen.